Hello everybody, in this video we will initialize our project folder, install 3 dependencies, and create our first 2 APIs, which are GET and POST requests. If you are on Mac, open up your terminal and go to the desired destination that you want to create your directory. You can type pwd to show the current path of the folder. And you want to create a new folder and give it a name Amazon. Change the directory to that folder by typing cd Amazon. If you type pwd again, you can see the entire path of your folder. So right now we are on users alpha learnpal. Alpha is the username, learnpal is another folder I created, and Amazon is the new folder that we just created. Now open up your favorite text editor. Mine is Visual Studio. If you are on Visual Studio, you can install extension to make your coding more productive. So here I have installed auto close tag. It will automatically close all the HTML tag. Prettier, it will beautify your code. And lastly, Vector is for Vue.js. It has all the features like syntax highlighting, snippet, emmet, linting, formatting, auto-completion, and debugging. If you don't want to run your terminal and code editor at the same time, meaning like this too, you can drag the bottom of your editor. Wait a second, let me drag. And voila, now you have terminal and editor on the same software. Visual Studio is pretty amazing. I really recommend you guys downloading this if you guys don't have it. So right now we are inside Amazon folder, and you want to create a new directory called server. We can close this down, and you want to click this. Now we have a new directory that we just created, server. Now you want to change directory to the server folder that we just created, cd server, and you want to type in npm init to initialize our package.json. This file will enable us to install useful libraries for our Node.js application in the future. So you want to click enter, and type in server.js as our entry point. Enter. Yes, and now you want to install the 3 dependencies: Express, Morgan, and body parser. So now if you open up package.json file, you can see there are 3 dependencies that we just installed. So right now we need to create a new file, and we need to give it a name server.js. It has to be under server folder, and we want to import the dependencies. So let's type in all the dependencies that required. Body parser. Express is a web framework library that enables you to access HTTP methods like get, post, put, and delete. Let me explain to you what these methods are about. HTTP methods are two-way communication between the front end and the server. As you can see, whenever you open up your Instagram application, it will trigger one of the HTTP methods to fetch data and present it to you. Pictures like dogs, cats, human beings, and funny pictures. Let's learn what are the 4 important HTTP methods that are being used widely by every app in the world. The first one is GET requests. GET request is retrieving data from the server. Whenever you load up your Instagram or any other application, it will secretly run GET requests in the background and retrieves all the data from the backend. Post request is sending the data from the front end to the server. For example, when you type your information on the registration form on Amazon website and click create your Amazon account button, you are sending the data that you type in to the server. Next one is update request, is updating a specific data like profile. Imagine you want to update your username, email, or your profile picture. Finally is delete request. You want to use a delete request if you want to delete a specific data. For example, if you want to delete your Facebook account because you want to detoxify yourself from social media. So now you have understand HTTP methods. Now you want to know what is Morgan. Morgan is a logger that will log all of the HTTP requests that comes from the front end. So whenever you make a request, Morgan will simply show the request that has been made on the terminal. The final dependency is a body parser. It is a library that gets the data from the front end and parses it in a proper format. So, for example, when you send the data from the sign up form that we just saw in the presentation just now, when you sign up for Amazon form, it will take the data and it will send to the backend. And the only way for the backend to understand that, it has to use body parser to extract that data and parse it in a proper format, like JSON or URL encoded is one of the formats. Think of body parser as translator that will translate the data coming from the front end in a proper language so that the backend will understand and try to process. So right now we need to add these two middlewares so that our Node.js application can actually use two of these libraries. We have to instantiate a new app object by Express so we can access all the Express methods like get, use. Use is actually for setting up the middleware. So app.use Morgan def so that we can see all the logs on the terminal later. App.use. My typing is really bad. .json. And URL encoded is one of the format. Extended false. So these are the middlewares. Without this, the backend don't have the ability to parse the data from the front end, and as well as it cannot actually tell the terminal that there's a request has been made from the front end. Think of middlewares as the middleman. For example, you have a friend who knows an investor and you want to get to know the investor, and the only way for you to get to know the investor, your friend has to pass a message from you to that investor. So your friend acts as a middleman in that process. So let's create our first two APIs. App.get. This is how you create a get method, and you gotta pass in the name of the URL. Since we are going to use home URL, then we're just gonna pass in slash. And pass in the request and response as the argument. And then you want to respond with something. Hello, Amazon clone. And finally, you want to listen on port 3000 and pass in the error as one of the arguments so that we can log if there's an error. So log. Alright, let's go ahead and test our application. So go ahead to your terminal, make sure you are under the right directory. So type in ls is to list all of the files, so you are in the correct directory. But where is server.js? As I said, you have to make sure that this file has to be under this folder, so I gotta drag in here. So make sure next time when you want to create a new file on the server folder, make sure you right click on the folder and click new file or new folder. So right now, since server.js is under server folder, let's type ls again. There we have it. We have server.js, and type node server to run the application. So right now we have undefined because I'm running to console.log error. My mistake. Let's do listening on port 3000. Let's save it again. But if we save it, it won't restart the server again. So we have to do it this time again. So it's listening on port 3000. So let's go ahead and open Postman so that we can test our first API. I suggest you download it. It's very useful for testing API. And we'll type localhost 3000 and just simply get. There's nothing, and just click send. You'll get a response that says hello Amazon clone. So let's go ahead and test our second API, which will be the post method. I think I need to make it bigger. My apologies. Alright. I completely forgot that I need to zoom in so that you guys can see it clearly. But you don't have to worry. In the next video until the end is going to be at this level of zoom in. So same thing, you gotta pass request and response. And in order to get the body of the data that we're gonna send from the front end, so you're gonna change it to post and click body, and you're gonna click www form URL encoded and pass in name and any name that you want. I'm just gonna put James. So we are using post request method, and we pass in the body name and James. So we want this James to get to this URL. So console log request.body. This is how you want to access the body of the data. So let's test it out first. Let's go back to Postman and let's send. Now probably we have an error, post 404. Let's go and restart our server first and send it, and it shows nothing because we are not responding with anything. But if you see on our terminal, it shows name James. So if we type request.body and the key name is name, then you gotta type in .name. So if you send again, so we have to cancel the server and send again, you will get James only. So we can use this data that we got from the front end to store it, to process it. You can do a lot of stuff with it. It's pretty amazing. So let's just recap. Get is to retrieve data from the server. Get. Post is send data from front end to back end. This is pretty amazing. We learn a lot of useful concepts like middleware, importing libraries, installing libraries, and as well as we use two of the most important HTTP methods such as get and post. And we already learned how to listen to a specific port, which is we listen to 3000. So if you try to do 7000, it won't work because we are listening on 3000. so you have to use the correct one. And this is pretty amazing. And thank you so much for watching the video until the very end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.